Definitely, definitely, definitely. Okay, okay. Definitely, definitely, definitely. My pleasure, my pleasure. तो आप मुझे ऐसा करिएगा, एक एक यही मेरा व्हाट्सएप नंबर पे ही है, इसमें अपना एक वो ईमेल भेज दीजिएगा. वी विल ट्राई टू कनेक्ट एंड एग्जैक्टली. यस 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 यस. So definitely we'll be in touch, and I will discuss with you in detail everything. And it's always a great pleasure to meet people who are there in academics. है ना? So I will just I'm actually right now just in time for a meeting. So I will just get back to you. ठीक है sir? ठीक. हाँ, so I'll just connect back with you in about a couple of hours. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for calling, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello. Students, can you hear me?
Good afternoon,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Sorry, I was busy with one small call. Good afternoon. I came to know Professor Salma Ahmed. She said that you can engage my session, so I was more than overjoyed. But I said like probably 12:20 would be a good time to connect with you. It's 12:30, not an issue at all. So we will have a extended session today in connect with the aspects that we intend to be taking up today. Today, I intend to be taking up something on the aspect of uh, something in the aspect of the branding and marketing per se. So let's. I'll just be sharing with you my PowerPoint presentation, and once it is visible, just let me know that you can actually have a look at it. So we would be talking about something called as the product and the product strategy per se. Um, is the screen visible to all of you?
No, not yet, sir.
Okay. Let me try to upload it once again.
Now it is.
So once it is visible, I would need a voice confirmation.
Yeah, visible now. Visible now.
Visible, sir, visible.
Excellent. So I think let us connect and discuss about some of the objectives that we intend to be taking up today. This is something in the context of the product strategy per se. Now, what we need to know is generally whatever is marketed are basically consisting of products and services. So we will be interchangeably using the term that is products and services. And we would be looking at, because today no product is a product per se, but actually it offers you a service. So effectively, if you're buying a drill, you technically are buying a hole. If you're buying an air ticket, you're basically buying a travel. So when we're talking about the role of a product, basically they end up trying to give you a type of a service, and this service is basically one of the today products and services are interlinked with each other, and you actually try to segregate them for the purpose of the study, but you can use them synonymously. So we would be looking into very important aspects related to products and product strategies, as well as services and service strategies per se. So towards products, we would be looking at the characteristics of products and how they are actually are classified. How do different companies they basically differentiate the different type of products, and why is product design an important aspect, and how customer is actually in the center of the customer design and helps in the co-creation process. We would also be looking at how basically luxury brands are actually marketed, what environmental issues are there which exactly have to be taken into the context, and the emergence of green products and the environment as an important facilitating factors for product development and consumption. We're talking about environment concerns and green products, and also how companies build their image and manage their products mix and product lines. So effectively, these happen to be some of the important aspects that we would be taking up today. So I would start with a very interesting case study today, and this case study is about a product that we all, every one of us is actually using. We exactly have been using the services of this product because we can't exist without the entity of this product, and that exactly is water storage tanks. Whether it is in your homes, whether it is in your institutions, whether it is in your colleges, your faculty, your offices, or your business, or your any place, hospitals, airports, everywhere, wherever there is water, you actually have to store it. And this is a product which exactly is called as Syntex. Now, water supply across India has always been discontinuous and erratic. As a result, water storage is crucial in all buildings and habitats in the country. Until the late 1970s, water tanks, water storage tanks were made in steel, brick masonry, or reinforced cement concretes. While steel tanks were prone to corrosion, tanks made of brick masonry or reinforced RCC, that is reinforced cement concrete, tend to develop cracks and that are difficult to repair. Now, sensing this need for leak-proof, maintenance-free solution to water storage, there's an organization which is called a Center Plast Container, now called Syntex Industries Limited Plastics Division. So this exactly was the name of the company, called as the Center Plast Containers, currently known as Syntex Industries Private Limited. This was the plastics division, came up with the idea of molded polythene, polyethylene water storage tanks that was standard in size, easy to transport, and quick to install. So these were some of the service characteristics, that this was standard in size. You could have something like around 500 liters or 1000 liters or 1500 liters or 2000 liters, standard sizes. Easy to transport, since they were very, very light, you can always easily transport them from one, and very quick to install. You can install them probably in a couple of hours of plumbing, you can actually install one. As these tanks were the new concept, Syntex had to invest a considerable amount of effort for market development to overcome resistance and skepticism on the part of the influencers who specified design, contractors, approving authorities, government department, and consumers. Now, these were basically the influencers for any sort of a infrastructural add-on to your civil goods for the different type of services, like for example, for water services. So definitely plumber or your architect or your design engineer or your mason or your contractor who's making your building would be the people who would actually influence. Also, there would be certain type of government officials, civil engineers, and approving authorities who would basically be involved in the influencing of this sort of a product for a replacement towards the RCC tanks or steel tanks for water storage. Now, this started as a water storage solution mainly for overhead applications. So it started over there, and Syntex expanded its product range to cover different types of water storage needs, such as on ground, intermediate, even underground, elevated associated, that is, you can do the different type of services. You can actually travel to different places. You've got a showroom, you've got a service center all across the country. Now, on the basis of this, there are people who feel that they are more safe. They provide you a 24/7 road assistance, or let's say, for example, a cashless repair. Now, these are some things which exactly are much, much beyond the core benefit, which exactly is being promised by a car, and that exactly is called as the potential product. So effectively, this sort of a product has multiple layers, and these layers start from core to basic to expected to augmented and to potential. Now, these are some of the different levels of product level hierarchy or the customer value hierarchy that exists for the product that exactly is there. Now, coming back to the next important aspect that we would like to be discussing is something which exactly is called as the product classification. How do we classify a product? Now, a product is classified on different dimensions. Like, for example, somebody might say, like, I have got a product classification in terms of something like the utility that exactly is there. That is how durable a product is. Is the product on the basis of durability I can classify it? Or somebody might say, no, I would try to classify the product on the basis of the services. That is, what exactly are the different type of services that are there? I would like to classify it on the basis of that. Somebody might say, like, I would like to try to classify it in terms of the durable goods that are there. Now, for example, if you're looking at durability and tangibility per se, a product can fall into three basic categories. The first category we would be trying to call is like a durable and a non-durable. Like durability and tangibility, the first is non-durable goods. Let's say, for example, what do we mean by non-durable goods? By non-durable goods, I mean things like that you're consuming it once or a very few uses. Like, for example, a soft drink. A soft drink, you would use it once or very few times, or a shampoo that you have. And because these goods are purchased frequently, the appropriate strategy is to make them available in different locations. Now, change only a small markup and adversity, it heavily is to induce the trial and build preferences. So the goods actually are having a very small markup. That is the total value of the good, the cost of production of the goods, and a very small value of markup is associated to the cost of production in order to make the goods easily affordable for people so that they can consume it. Like, you wouldn't mind trying out a new cold drink or a new flavor of ice cream that is available in the market, or a new toothbrush that is available, because you would like to try it out and see whether it provides you some sort of a value. So that's exactly how we classify a new type of a shampoo that is available in the market, a new brand of a shampoo that is there. So this can be classified as a non-durable good, and it is advertised heavily. Now, this advertisement of non-durable goods is done heavily in order to induce the trial and the preference, so that people may like to try it once and change their preference if it clicks, if people like it. Now, then we look at durable goods. When we're talking about durable goods, these actually survive for quite a number of people. Now, within durable goods also, there are certain type of goods like white goods. Like, for example, these were generally like refrigerators, or washing machine, or machine tools, or air conditioning, or clothing. Clothings are also many times classified as durable. Let's say, for example, if it's a blazer or a suit or a sherwani that you're getting stitched for you, or a designer garment for party wear, you're purchasing. That's basically a durable good. You intend to use it for quite a period of time. Although, again, it's a debatable context as to how different value of people use different goods for clothing perspective. But a durable good generally requires more personal selling and service. Like, for example, they command a higher margin and require more seller guarantee, because when you're going to buy a refrigerator or a washing machine or an air conditioner, or let's say a dishwasher, you require to have a sort of a guarantee that this good is going to last for a certain period of time. In case that it requires it, some sort of a service backup is available for this sort of a goods, which exactly is there. So some level of guarantee also aids a person deciding on the durability. So consumer durables also they're called, or like, For example, you've got classification many times you must have seen like FMCG. FMCG is actually non-durable goods, and then there are durable goods which exactly have longer lifetime. Then there are services. Now, services are basically intangible. These are inseparable. They are variable. They are perishable. They exactly cannot be stored. They are created at the time of consumption, and then they exactly lose their acceptance at the point when the consumption is. Let's say, for example, you're taking a bus ticket. So the moment you board a bus, you own that seat. But the moment you get down at your stop, that ticket or that travel service is that the service is lost. Now, incidentally, service can neither be created nor be destroyed. Also, you cannot store service. Let's say, for example, the bus has moved from point A to point B, and it has got something like about 20 seats, and one seat is not utilized. 19 passengers sitting in the bus, one seat is empty. So that service opportunity is lost. It is not like you can store that one seat or you can remove that one seat from the bus, because you cannot use it later. At the point of consumption, at the point of finishing the service, the goods are there. At that point of time, it is there. So you have to make the best use of the opportunity that exactly is there. And that exactly is what differentiates service from a durable good. That exactly is there. So like, let's say, for example, you go for a haircut, or you go for a legal service, or you go for, let's say, an appliance repair. All these are also categorized as services, right? So these are basically the first level of classification. Then you come to something called as consumer goods classification. If I'm going to say there are certain type of consumer goods and how do we classify them, then there are certain type of classifications on the basis of consumer good classification. So we have got convenience goods, we've got shopping goods, we've got specialty goods, and we've got unsought goods. Now, what do we mean by shopping goods? Like, for example, you would be looking at certain goods which are based on certain type of suitability, or certain type of quality, or certain type of price, or certain type of style. Like, for example, you want to go and buy a furniture. There's a brand called as IKEA, which exactly is there. That is a DIY, do-it-yourself furnitures. Or let's say, for example, you go for a certain type of shopping goods. We've got homogeneous shopping goods, which are different from heterogeneous shopping goods. Homogeneous shopping goods are goods which have a similar type of a price. Let's say, for example, you want to buy a shopping like a washing powder. Generally, most of the washing powders which are available in the market, they fall within that same latitude of price point for all the different brands, whether it's Ariel, whether it's Surf, whether it is whatever Tide or whatever brand exists, they all fall within the same. So those are homogeneous shopping goods. But then there are certain type of heterogeneous shopping goods which exactly have a variety type of services associated with it that makes it a different type of a place point. And like, for example, you want to go and buy a soap, the toilet soap that you use for your daily like washing purpose. Like you want to use different type of, you got different categories of soap. Like you have got the medicine soap like Neem, Dettol, and so on and so forth. Then you got beauty soap, like for example you have Lux, you have got uh, different Palmolive, and you've got different type of brands which are there. Then you've got certain type of soaps which are good for skin. You have got the skin friendly soap that exactly is there. Then you've got certain soap for I would say like for example you've got a soap which is going to be high content of Nivea. There's a soap called Nivea, or there's a soap called Pears, which has a high amount of glycerine added to it, so that you can use it in winter and it takes care of moisturizing your skin. And Nivea tries to say that it's 90% soap, moisturizing cream, and 10% soap. So that is exactly how it tries to project. Now, and then you have got the basic soap, which exactly like, let's say, for example, you've got a soap like Hammam, or there's a soap which is called as Live Boy. These are so not the price point, or then there's a soap called as Aramask, which exactly is there. So effectively, if you're looking at the high-end synthol, these there's a huge amount of price parity. So these are heterogeneous shopping goods, which exactly have a different type of a price point, which exactly operate like RMS could be different, and you can have the live boy could be different. Then you could have different type of range of soaps for the different category and different consumer base and tastes be different. So effectively, these are the type of shopping goods which exactly are there. So we've got homogeneous shopping goods and we've got heterogeneous shopping goods. Then there is something which is called as the convenience specialty goods. Now, what do we mean by specialty goods? Now, these are certain type of goods, like for example, which are purchased by buyers for specific purposes. Like for example, you want to buy a stereo component or a men's suit. So let's say, for example, Reed and Taylor is a suit that you'd like to have it as a brand. Or let's say if you want to buy a stereo component, you would like to buy a stereo component from Sony or Kenwood or JBL or even Bose for that matter. So effectively, these are shopping goods where basically you try to look at the different type of range of certain goods that exactly you intend to be buying, and these are for a longer period of time, and you take a lot of time to decide. If you're buying a car, let's say for example, a Mercedes is a specialty good because interested buyers will travel far in order to buy one because they would like to compare. Like you don't have a showroom for Mercedes in Aligarh, so you definitely are ready to travel to Delhi in order if you want to buy a Mercedes because you got a showroom out there. So effectively, this exactly is a goods which are called as a specialty goods. Then there are certain type of goods which are called as unsought goods. You are buying certain goods that the consumer does not know about it normally, or normally they don't think about buying these goods. Like for example, I might say you may or may not be knowing, but you generally would not like to buy it because chances are कि हमें उसकी जरूरत नहीं पड़े. Let's say for example, smoke detector. Now, smoke detector detects smoke. Like for example, you'd like to install it in a building or in a hotel because people don't smoke. Otherwise, the detection will happen and the alarm is going to go out. Because if you're going to smoke in a room, probably you might end up putting that entire room on fire, and you might risk the entire property in fire, and you might risk everybody who's staying in that hotel in fire. So you need to install a smoke alarm over there. Or like let's say for example, like a life insurance. Like this is something which people would try to avoid, because unless and until you plan about certain type of emergency and contingency, I don't think anybody would like to go and buy a life insurance policy like you would like to go and buy an ice cream or a cold drink or a Pepsi or a pizza. So effectively, this is a unsought good which you literally need to be forced in order to sell it. Or let's say for example, an encyclopedia. You might be buying a course book, you might be buying copies for writing, you might be buying textbooks, you might be buying certain reference books which your teachers might have told you for you, but you won't go and buy an encyclopedia. Who buys an encyclopedia? What is the use for an encyclopedia for you? Now you might think, why if I today tell you go and buy a dictionary? Probably nobody would like to go and buy a dictionary for that matter, or an encyclopedia. You might say that I would like to use an online dictionary which exactly is there. Why would I buy one? So effectively, this can be within the category of unsought goods. So consumer good classification can be done in terms of convenience goods, shopping goods, specialty goods, and unsought goods. Then we also have certain. Yes, would like to anybody would like to speak up something?
Yes, sir. Sir, could you please explain convenience again?
Okay, you want me to explain the convenience goods. Now,
Yes.
for example, if you're looking at certain type of goods which exactly we use for our day-to-day life, like for example, we are using certain type of staples, or soap, or let's say soft drinks. These exactly are convenience goods. Like for example, product. If I say, okay, what is the toothpaste that you've been using today for your dental care? So you might say Colgate. Okay, or what is the soap that you're using? So you'd say Mysore sandalwood soap. Or let's say, for example, what is the biscuit that you had? You'd say Britannia Mary biscuit. Now these are basically goods. These can be classified as impulse goods also. Like, for if you go to a shopping mall, all of a sudden you see a range of biscuits over there. So you might decide, let me try this because I like these biscuits. Or you might say, I might try this cookies, which exactly are there. Or somebody might say, okay, let me try this chocolate chips cookies, which exactly are very tasty. They're looking very enticing, so I might like to buy. Now, these exactly you wouldn't be planning in order to buy. It's basically just convenience. Just as a matter of fact, you would go and pick it up. You would not think twice. So many times you want to go for a cold drink and you try to see, okay, whatever is available, I'd like in cola. You wouldn't care whether it's from Pepsi or whether it's from Coke. So you'd like to have one because your only limitation would be that it must be a carbonated drink, and it should be cold, and it should be fresh, and it should be a cola that I want to have. Or let's say you want to buy a chocolate. You would like to be or buying a candy bar, or you want to buy a potato chips. So you would like different flavors of potato chips. You wouldn't mind whether it's from Leher, or that is from Pepsi or Parle, or you'd like to from Frito Lay's, or whatever is the brand you like to immediately, or you'd like to try a new flavor like onion and cheese potato chips. Now, or there are certain emergency goods also there. Like, for example, in urgent need. Let's say, for example, you want to buy an umbrella. All of a sudden, it started raining, and you wouldn't want your dress to get wet, so you would immediately try to pick up an umbrella or a raincoat in order to save yourself from the monsoon. Or suddenly you go to a hill station, and you feel that all of a sudden you feel the chill, and you want to buy a sweater or a pullover because you never planned to bring a sweater or a pullover again. Many a times it has happened with me. I went to Dehradun, and all of a sudden we decided to go to Mussoorie. And the moment we climbed up, we started feeling cold, and then we had to actually started shivering. So decided to immediately buy something to cover ourselves, a shawl or a sweater or a small jacket, something of that sort. Now, this impulsive good or a convenience good, where you don't plan in order to make a purchase, but are doing it in a jiffy, and you're not very skeptical about the decision. Availability is a very important aspect of making a purchase decision, can be classified as a convenience goods. Am I explained?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay. So let me take you to another case at this point of time. This is about a very interesting hotel. This is called as a Ginger Hotel. Now, Ginger Hotel is a chain of hotel in India. In the smart, yes. Anybody would like to make a point? I'm getting the blips. Anyone would like any problems?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, the examples you just mentioned under convenience goods, like for example, if you're going to a hill station, we can buy some sweaters, and we are not very
Right.
skeptical about these. So, but can't we consider these goods under shopping as well? Like, can't we do that?
See, Anam, basically, we understand that for you and for us, we would like to not get sick, and we wouldn't mind spending a few $100 for covering ourselves for a situation we never predicted, and we might like to have a sweater. But there are many people who are, unfortunately, certain type of consumers who are not very um, who don't have the luxury of so much amount of money, who can throw it away just like that. For them, it can be, yes, can be considered as a shopping goods. But if you're going to buy a sweater from a brand called uh, Marks and Spencers, or a brand which exactly is very good and very a polo brand of sweater, or any other brand, like for example, so there you can decide. Let's say, for example, winters is coming and you want to change your wardrobe, and you want to go shopping for these sweaters. Then definitely it is an example of a shopping good. Okay, where basically it's going to add into your winter type of dresses, and it goes matching. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. When I travel to some places like Srinagar and other places, I might like to pick up a shawl or a sweater from there. Now that can be classified as a shopping good because I've gone there and I picked it up. But let's say, for example, some place I go and all of a sudden it starts snowing or raining. So I might like to save myself from the inclement weather, and I might pick up uh, an umbrella. Now that can be classified as a um, that as a convenience good. Hope I'm answered, Anam.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Sir,
yes, yes,
so
yes.
what medicines?
Medicine.
Medicine.
Medicines the chemist is not going to give you without a prescription. Okay, because that goods are not supposed to be used. Like for example, you must have recently seen in COVID times there was a scare, and there was medicine I remember.
Sir, Dolo?
Molnupiravir. Molnupiravir was the medicine. Yes, Pratika.
Sir,
Five is you available everywhere. I'm talking about monopiravir. Monopiravir was for this like the viral. It cuts down the viral load. Monopiravir was not available. It was on black. So medicines का तो ये rule है. हाँ, first aid kit है जहाँ तक सवाल है. Of course, whenever you're traveling. Yes, Ashfaq, you want to make a point?
Sir, I have just another question regarding services. You mentioned that services cannot be stored, right? But
हाँ.
there are some services like OTT platform like Netflix. They store their services on their platform and we can consume anytime. So what would you say about these services, those who are stored on their platform?
नहीं मेरे को आप एक चीज समझ लीजिए कि when you're talking about first let me try to answer Yasir, then I'm going to come back to your question. Okay? So Yasir, basically what I'm trying to say is first aid kit की जहां तक सवाल आती है, you want to buy a band-aid, you end up God forbid bruising your knee. Okay, God forbid आप कहीं पे आपको लगा कि आपको चोट लग गया है और आपको you want to put a band-aid. Okay, you first chemist you find, you go to him and you tell him कि I want to buy a band-aid. ठीक है, ये एक unplanned purchase था. ठीक है, so this can be classified as not a sort of a decision that you have taken on the basis of your um, shopping goods, but rather you would be taking it as a convenience good. ठीक है, are you answered?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ashfaq, now coming, oh sorry, Afaq, I'm basically, let's say for example, Netflix, you say stores up these movies on their hard disk or on their cloud, right? You
Yeah,
can look
yes.
at it at any point of time. But the moment is, what I mean by a service is, Netflix is a brand that's a repository. That Netflix is not a service. If you think Netflix is a service, it's a service brand. The movie that you're watching is actually a service. So how about you have a movie in your hard disk, but that does not make it a service. You have a service, but the real point of time is the point when you started using a service. You have a car in your garage. That does not mean that you 24/7 you are traveling, isn't it?
Yes, yes, sir.
So,
Yes,
so
sir, I
that's
got
what
it.
I mean. So, okay, let's say, for example, if let's say I say that the mobile phone that you are having in your pocket, that is giving you airtime. ठीक है? पहले ये
Yes,
होता
sir.
था कि how much amount of data you are using. But that data, the moment you switch on your data, you have started using that service, that airtime you started. The moment you
Okay,
switch
sir.
off, you have that service. I'm not saying that you, but what I mean by stored is that you do not need a warehouse. You don't need a truck to transport it from point A to point B like a bottle of water or some cement bags. You're getting my point. You don't need
Yes,
a
sir. Yes.
warehouse to store the wheat that you have
Yeah, right.
in the field. ठीक है?
Okay. So
Okay, so
basically, it does not require physical
yes, it
warehouses.
does not
Yeah.
require a physical infrastructure or something called a logistic process is not required.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So okay, fine. So yes, any other aspect towards it or you'd like me to proceed with the next level of
So in the
classification?
previous slide, you told us about the expected and the augmented services. What it was, sir? Augmented and expected. So on the
अच्छा ठीक है.
PPT.
Okay. So in that bullseye, I did talk about certain type of augmented services and expected services. Now,
So
you
why can't we look those two services as one?
why? Basically, let's say for example, you want to go and buy a car. What is the minimum expectation that you have from a car?
So it
Okay,
should
that
have
is
a
your
cabinet.
expected service. As far as the augmented services, it is there which is provided by the car maker without your expectation. In that context, those services which actually increase your delight. First कीजिए कि you want to buy a car which exactly provides you 5 seats. Okay, you want to buy a car that takes you from point A to point, gives you a sweet riding comfort and all that. Now all of a sudden they people the car maker exactly decides to come up with some airbags and offers you airbags or provides you a head restraint or provides you a seat belt. Now these are included in the car, so you are happy because they're taking care of your safety, isn't it? Or you go to buy a scooter and all of a sudden they give you a helmet free. Now you might say that wow, I need a scooter, I am not buying a helmet. But they say no, you because you will go and buy a helmet from XYZ, so I'm giving you a helmet free. Or if they you buy a car, they say that I'm giving you a free seat cover, or I'm giving you free mats, the leg mats, the door mats are free. Or let's say for example, I'm providing you a free registration service or interest-free loan. If you're taking a loan, I'm going to give you an interest-free loan. Now, these are, you wanted a loan, but you didn't want, actually, you never thought that you're going to get an interest-free loan. So effectively, if somebody offers you this basically is a part of an augmented product. It's not the basic expected product. It is beyond your expectation that you're getting. And that exactly is why you exactly have a delight. You are delighted that I actually wanted something and I got something extra for free. Don't you feel so happy? You go to buy a soap and you get 1+1 free. Or you go to buy a goods on Amazon and you get free delivery. Now that exactly is called something called as an augmented product. And that is how it is different from the expected product. I hope I'm
And
answered.
sir, augmented product cannot be compulsory, right? Cannot be
Huh?
compulsory.
No. But augmented product is always given in order to delight you.
Sir, as you talked about airbags, so these days the government of India has made it compulsory to install
Maybe it has made it compulsory,
airbags.
but the car drive, but if he says that if you want a car with an airbag, I'm increasing so much price, then you have to buy a car because I have increased the price so much because of the airbags that I have put in. Vis-a-vis, if he charges you for the car and says that airbags are complimentary. You're getting my point. So that is the difference between what I mean by an augmented and what I mean by a uh, expected product. Hope I'm answered.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So we were discussing about this hotel called as the Ginger Hotel, and probably that is the last aspect we'll be discussing today in today's session. Now, Ginger Hotels is a chain of hotel in India in the smart basics category. Now, they have set standards of service quality at affordable prices. The concept of the hotel is loosely inspired from the success of low-cost airlines and targets the modern, experienced traveler who does not relate low traffic tariff with poor standards. Okay, so Ginger Hotel employs skeletal staff, and most of the regular hotel services are outsourced. So effectively, you don't have to purchase the services in order to make the end offer a costly one for the consumer. So if the consumer wants, they can avail the services, else these are outsourced services. Like for example, they economize on cost by offering the guest self-check-in feature. So you don't have somebody to check in for you, but you have to do a self-check-in. The guests, they wheel their own luggage and carry it to their room. They don't have a concierge in order to carry your luggage to your room. The hotel provides limited room services. Like the guests can avail a dial a menu facility from the local restaurants and collect their meal from the front desk. So you've got Zomato or Swiggy bringing in your food from the local restaurants as per your requirement to the front desk, and you can pick up the meal from there and take it to your room and eat it. These hotels have a lot of do not also have a multi cuisine restaurant vending machine for hot and cold beverages. If you want coffee, the porter is not going to bring a coffee to your room, but you can go to the vending machine and take a coffee for yourself. ATM, a basic gym, and a Wi-Fi network. And another innovation and display of sensitivity, the last room of the hotel in the Ginger chain, especially designed for a physically challenged guest. The brand name implies something fresh, simple, warm, and stylish. The hotels are located in smaller business centers and tourist destinations that attracts visitors around the clock. In short time, the hotel chain has achieved an occupancy of 85%, and that too without significant advertising support. So effectively, you see, this is basically catering to the core benefit as well as the basic product. So anything above that expected product is not incorporated in the uh, business model of the Ginger hotels, which exactly. The similar thing is there in the Oyo rooms. Oyo rooms also decided to come up with this sort of a concept, even cutting down to just the core benefit so that their products can be for designed for economy customers and even homestays, which exactly are there for some sort of a budget travelers, which exactly are traveling on a very short notice, and they exactly are looking only for the bare minimum in the context of hospitality service that they are trying to look for. So we will come to an end to this session because it's about 1:55 per se, and I believe I think I've overshot it by 5 minutes, isn't it? But I've overshot the session by I think 10 minutes. Yes, Shama. Shama, you want to make a point?
Sir, there is one term you used, skeletal. Yes, sir. Sir, there is one term you used, skeletal staff.
Skeletal, right?
Sir, what is the meaning
Skeletal
of it?
means bare basic. It means you've got very limited amount of people who are there for the entire infrastructure. Like for example, the same person who's going to check in is the person who's going to take care of the rooms. The same person will take care of the electrical and probably there will be one person who will be taking care of electrical, plumbing, and any sort of repair work or address any sort of service related issue. There would be 3 or 4 people would be at the most there to take care of the entire activity. People will be doing multitasking because they want to minimize on the human resource cost, and because at the end of the day that also is going to add to the cost of service, and they want to keep the cost of the service low. In order to do that, they keep the minimal amount of stuff, and that is what is called by skeletal staff. Am I answered?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So students, we exactly have this sort of a shift that we did today, mid-course correction that we did, where we migrated from one platform to the Google Meet. I'm okay with it if it is okay with all of you and nobody's removing you out from the class. We can I can always schedule a meet with all of you, and I can share the link and you can join. That's not a problem at all. I can do that as well. Um, but there's a small amount of problem that exactly I encounter here, and that is related to attendance. So I want one of you from every group, that is from MBA, one of you from MHA, one of you from international business, this uh, Islamic banking and finance, to basically collate the attendance for the rest of the attendees for the session and email it to me, or rather uh, WhatsApp me. That is the only way out, because that at that place attendance was actually automatically pulling in how many times people joined, how many times people left. That was one of the major advantages that I was having with that group using that platform. But here, I think I need your assistance. So I need 4 volunteers. That's something, a cost for moving to this. If you are willing to, okay, wonderful, Yasser. Thank you very, very much. So we have got Yasser who's volunteered to look at the attendance for IB. I need people like Yasser, somebody who can help me with MBA, and somebody with MHA, and somebody with IBF. So feel free to take your call. Okay, Uruj, thank you very, very much. And Main Mazhar, I really am very thankful for your so prompt address into this context. Thank you very, very much for providing me this assist, and also taking the pains for um, providing this benefit to the others and for to us migrating to this platform. Thank you very much, and appreciate all your warm gestures. And that's about it for the day. Thank you. But depending upon your Dean Ma'am's engagement, sometimes I might be engaging 2 sessions also. Okay, so please, either Madam would be engaging, or in case she is busy, I will be taking her classes. So, but we will inform you well in time so that you are well prepared about it and you're well informed. Okay, that's about it for the day, and definitely I shall be writing to you about the assignment that we discussed. I will be discussing it once again, and I'll be sharing with you the different groups that I have made and the products that I have decided upon. Okay, in a couple of days. That's about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Sir.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Assalamu
sir.
alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very,
sir.
very much. Okay.